it going, guys? So I thought I'd make a little video on being 5 years sober. So last time I drank at all was like mid 2019, but I started trying to get sober. Well, the last time I was paralytic was probably like early 2019 or late 2018, and I probably started trying to quit drinking way before then, but kind of fuzzy, can't really remember too much. So yeah, so I wasn't a daily alcoholic. Like I wasn't well, so there were periods in my life where I drank every day, and there were periods of my life where I didn't, and I'd get paralytic, like I'd get completely shit-faced a few times a week, maybe. Once, twice, sometimes 3 times. It was never less than once a week. And I think a lot of the time it was always... See, some people can handle getting completely drunk every week, but the thing is like, I don't know. I tried that and it didn't, it didn't work. Like, you'd end up, I don't know, I think maybe in my case, like, obviously I was addicted to diazepam as well, so that kind of didn't help the situation. But yeah, so basically, in a way, I needed something every single day. I know that when I did go without the diazepam, I needed a drink. So in a way, like, and they work in very similar ways, so in a way, it's like you can't really tell the difference between whether or not you need a drink and whether or not you need like a benzo, because you end up in this sort of state where you're constantly agitated and you need something to calm down. But yeah, so alcohol was like the worst, like in a way, like it's the worst kind of like thing that you can be on. Like at the end of it, like the first time I ever drank was like when I was 16 or 17, probably 16, and the first drink I ever had was vodka, and the first time I ever drank, I was completely wrecked. And that's the way it always was, really. Like when I drank, like it would very rarely ever be like just one drink. Like I can't even really think of a time when I only drank one drink ever. But yeah, so I started when I was like 16, and then I would drink heavily, like 1, 2, sometimes even 3 times a week, and then I didn't really stop. There were times where maybe I'd only do it once a week, and then there were times when I remember drinking every day. I don't know, you know, and then so the first time I was like in a hospital because of alcohol related and like medication related sort of incidents was like when I was 27. And then again when I was 27, again when I was 28. And then that was it. I managed to break free from it when I was 29. And I've been sober ever since. I'm 34 now. Which sounds like a long time, but really, it feels like yesterday. It feels like I'm still learning how to live this way. Like I haven't figured it out. Like I feel like I've only just started and I'm still figuring it out. Like I feel like maybe I'm on level 2 and there's like 100 levels. You and you start on level 1, and I'm on like level 2 or 3 now, and I'll figure it out eventually, but it takes a while. But yeah, it was a very difficult journey, trying to like get off everything. Like, so I've been sober, like as I say, for 5 years, but alcohol was only the first thing I quit. In my case, I had to quit benzos as well. So I've been off benzos for almost 4.5 years. And I've been off of mental health medication for 1.5 years. And I've been off of my final medication, which was just a blood pressure medication, like, well, it was an anti-anxiety medication, propranolol, like blood pressure / anti-anxiety. So I've been off that for a year. So I've been 100% medication free for like a year now. But yeah, at my peak, or I say at my lowest, not my peak, what the hell? At my lowest, I was just having these incidents like on vodka, and just like, you drink a bottle or 2 of vodka and you'd be completely fucked up. And then you'd need like, I don't know, it's fucked up. And it would be like that all the time. And then you'd get these really bad hangovers. And then as soon as the hangover was over, you'd want to drink again, even though you just went through hell. And it was like that for a long time. And yeah. So as I say, I was never like a daily alcoholic. Like I wasn't someone. If I was an alcoholic, okay, so here's the thing. If I was an alcoholic, I wouldn't have even known, because I was on diazepam. So I'd use the diazepam to take away any sort of feelings like that. So whenever I'd feel something like that, like any kind of withdrawal sort of thing like that, I'd just take diazepam. And the times that I didn't have diazepam were really fucked up. So it masks the withdrawal, things like that, you see. And looking back, I probably did have a problem way before I realized. But yeah, I don't think I could ever drink again. Like sometimes I think I remember what it's like, and sometimes like I think that would be nice in a way. Like if I could just drink without the part where you're too fucked up. Like that feeling when you've only had 1 or 2 before you start on the rest. But yeah, it just, I don't know. I feel like maybe one day I don't know if I should ever consider drinking again, really. Like, but I thought about it quite a lot. And I thought like, if I was, like, it would be very different. Like, I would only drink. I don't think. See, the thing is I would never want to go through any type of withdrawal again. But in my case, it's like, well, was that diazepam, or was that like alcohol, or was it both? I suppose it was both. But yeah, I would never want to do that kind of experience again. And I never want alcohol to take things from me again either. Like, I feel like alcohol did take a lot. Like, at first you think like, oh, when you first have a drink, it's like, oh, like, you gain something from it in a way. Like, you gain relaxation, you gain these good experiences, but then in a way, if you're not careful, it can start to take experiences from you, because you get too fucked up and then bad things happen. And okay, the first few times it's kind of funny, like when someone's too drunk, it's like, okay, well, he's just drunk, but then eventually it's like, oh, like it becomes a problem. So yeah, I don't know if I could ever do it again. I've had shandy. It's not quite the same though. But yeah, I've had shandy like once or twice a year, I think, like a year or 2 back. So maybe I'm not technically 100% sober, but whatever, that's just silly. Like, my problem was, like, being on the floor, completely fucked up, not shandy. But yeah, but even when I stopped drinking. So I stopped drinking like early 2019, and even when I have like, so mid 2019, I did actually try and have a beer, it didn't hit me the same. Like, it felt weird. I felt really weird. I felt different. It wasn't like the same. Like, it was like a different feeling. Like, my body had changed or something. Like, once I'd been through the withdrawal from like the benzos and like recovered some of my body, like the feeling that I would get is just weird. Like, I'd get heart palpitations and stuff like that, like instantly, just from like like the first like half of the beer that I had, like I was instantly getting like negative effects. It wasn't like what everyone else gets when they drink. So I think my body's changed as well. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being crazy. I don't know. But I think there's some truth to it as well. But yeah, it's messed up. Like, it's messed up when you end up drinking like every day, or like even binge drinking. Like, even binge drinking is just messed up. Like, I know people that they're just living in a haze. Like, they get drunk on the weekend, and then the whole week, and then so like they get drunk on the Friday, and then the whole weekend they're out of it, right? Because they're too hungover to really do anything. And then through the whole week, they're just kind of not quite there. Like, they're just, they're more depressed or whatever. But they've never experienced not having the alcohol, so they don't know what it's like. They don't even know. And like, that's the thing, is like a lot of mental disorders and stuff. It's like, well, how much of it is like that? Like binge drinking culture and stuff like that. Like, how much of it is really like, how much of it is because of, how much mental illness is because of alcohol? I don't know. It's an impossible question to answer. It's just silly, yeah. But I think sometimes, basically my point is that I think sometimes alcohol, like, even, you don't have to be drinking every day to like start getting the negative effects from it. I think that the negative effects start way before that, and I think that in terms of like mental health and stuff, I think it has a bigger effect on your mental health than people realise. And I think it starts having a big effect way before you realise that it actually is. And like, the thing with me when I got sober is that I was discovering things for months and months and months after I quit drinking about my own behaviours and like the things that led me into some of the situations that I'd been in, and some of the choices that I made, and stuff like that, So yeah, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about it, and yeah, just wish those that are still drinking, there's so many people drinking now. There's probably more people drinking now. There's probably more alcoholics now than when I was drinking, probably because of like COVID and stuff, whatever. I don't know, the economy, whatever. And yeah, it's not easy to quit. Like, it's not easy to imagine yourself like ever quitting. Like, sometimes it's not even the alcohol. Like, sometimes it's just the whole idea of like, oh, well, that's what I've always been like, and that's what everyone around me is like, so how could I ever be different? Stuff like that, sort of like feeling like that. But I think that if you just take it day by day, and like, basically I think the way it seemed to work for me is that you go one weekend without drinking, and then it's almost like you try to make that a habit. So rather than a habit of like where you drink every X amount of days or whatever, it becomes a habit of like every Friday you'll have I used to just get a crate of Pepsi, but I mean, it's better than booze, right? probably. So, so, yeah, so every Friday I'd have like a new massive crate of Pepsi, and I'd just do my own thing, and I'd just drink a load of caffeine, and it wasn't too bad. It was good. And it was a new habit, and eventually I got rid of that habit, but it was definitely a better habit than like being out on the street or whatever, like drinking vodka and ending up in the back of an ambulance and dumb shit like that. And yeah, I don't think I could ever go back. But the thing is that I know that, like, as I say, like, it's just so bad now. Like, there's more people drinking. Like, there's more homelessness than I've ever seen in my entire life. I've never seen homelessness like this. There's like homeless people like just constantly, and like it's like, you know, like one thing I noticed, my neighbor died recently from alcoholism. I saw him a few days before, I think it was a few weeks actually, it was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks or something. But I saw him a few weeks. It wasn't my neighbor, well, no, he was my neighbor, yeah. But yeah, so, and a few weeks before I saw him, and I saw he had like a bottle of vodka and a bottle of cider, and I was like, damn, I even said to him, I said, that's a lot of booze, you know, like, he said, yeah, I've been drinking every day, like, whatever. I said, you definitely don't want to do that, you know. But it's very hard to sort of tell someone to stop, because you can't really just tell them to stop. Like, if someone told me to stop when I was drinking, I'd just be like, yeah, sure. And I'd probably just go get fucked up. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, telling someone to stop is just stupid. Like, it's not going to work like that. Like, they have to decide for themselves. And all you can do is just try to inspire them and hope for the best. And yeah, my neighbor died, like, drinking recently. And I've known other people to die drinking. I've known people from when I was on the streets die drinking, or because of alcohol-related stuff. And the thing is that they die quietly. There's no like celebration. There's not much recognition. They just, you know, you wake up one morning and another person's dead. And it's a really sad way to go, because it doesn't need to happen. That took a little bit of a depressive downturn. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say is, and if you're in that place, then just, I don't know, try to get help, but at the same time, try to help yourself. I, in a way, it's like both. And whenever I tried to rely too much on other people, it never worked. I went through like addiction counselors or whatever. They were complete, no offense, they were complete idiots. I had an addiction counselor that tried to put me on antipsychotics, claiming that I need antipsychotics for the rest of my life. It's like, what the fuck? Like, I would have ended up 10 times worse. Like, because I would have just been a fat lump. No offense to people that take antipsychotics. Sorry. But yeah, so, yeah, that wouldn't have worked. That wouldn't have been good. That, you know, I don't think you get better taking antipsychotics. Something that's like so toxic to your body, you know, it's metabolic poison. It's not good for the brain. One day it'll be legal, but it's gonna take time. But yeah, so if you're in that place, just, I don't know, just hold on, like, just keep trying and try to go days without it, maybe, you know, or, you know, if you're a proper alcoholic, like in a really bad way, like obviously you need to taper, you need to do it slowly, and it's going to be difficult, like it's not going to be easy, it's going to be very difficult, but you just have to do it slowly and just take each win as it comes, you know, and then one day you'll have one weekend where like you don't drink, and maybe one day you'll have 2 in a row. And that's when you start getting away, right? That's when you start escaping it, I guess. But yeah, that's all I have to say, so see you in the next one.